so much what I like. I guess it's just like what I'm familiar with, I guess. Yeah, there's not much to do here. There is, I mean, other than that, the people here are pretty great for the most part. Most people, well, the ones that I know anyways. I feel like you encounter different walks of life wherever you go. It is a pretty diverse city, I will say that. It's just home to me, I guess. It's just what I've always been familiar with. I didn't go to school here. I worked here a lot. I'm gonna go back to school. I'm going to get my esthetician's license. So like hair, nails, like makeup, all that stuff. I will say, like, even myself, who've been living here the whole time, like, I've had a hard time getting a job at the moment. Like, I've had a job, but I want another job because, you know, sometimes one job isn't enough to pay like groceries and rent and like all those things that you need, right? So it's definitely been difficult. I do have an interview like next week, thank God, but yeah, it's been a struggle. It's definitely taken me a lot longer than normal. Like normally it would take me like a month or something if I'm looking for a new job. Now it's been like 3 to 4 months. It's been pretty crazy. So
What is the biggest thing you ever had to undergo in your life? What's the biggest struggle and how did you overcome it?
I will say I had a couple years ago, I had a friend that passed away, and it really put a huge damper in like the relationship of like all of my friends. It was like very devastating for all of us. I will say that was a big thing, but like I guess as long as you have the right people by your side, you'll get through whatever you need to, right? So I didn't get through it by myself, that's for sure. I definitely relied on like a help from all my closest friends and my family and people who, you know, cared about me and needed the most. So yeah, I will say I definitely didn't do it alone. I had a lot of help, but without those people I'd probably not be in the state where I am now. So definitely in a much better place.
And how did your friend pass away?
He was actually murdered in front of a bar here 2 years ago. It's kind of like a random violence, act of violence type idea, and it's very sad, but I mean, things happen, right? And just got to move on and, you know, take the best from what you can in those horrible situations. So yeah.
And was it gun violence?
No, it was a stabbing. It was knife violence.
So it was a fight?
Yes. My friend was just coming out of a bar on his birthday, and this other guy, I guess, was like catcalling the girl that he was with, and he was just trying to stick up for her, and then things went from there and then escalated. So yeah.
And where were you when you got the news?
I got the news the next morning. I was with my ex at the time, and we lived in the same apartment, and he was partying with him that night, so he just thought he went to a girl's house or something. But yeah, it was definitely some devastating news to wake up to in the morning after you see your friend all happy the night before. So yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Do a lot of that happens around here?
As of like, I want to say it was like a lot worse, like a couple years ago. I haven't really like recently, again, I haven't really like been too much on the news and stuff, but there is a lot of like random violence things that happen here. Not so much like gun violence, but it's a lot of like stabbings, fightings, like a lot of things that get like really escalated out of hand. Like there's been quite a few stabbings downtown especially. It's kind of sad to see, especially because this is like a really like big area where students come to, like Fanshawe students and like Western students, and like there's like violence like that, and people just can't like you know have a good time instead of settling your differences in a way that could end someone's life, which is unfortunate. But yeah.
And I'm also very sorry to hear that. My question to you now is, you know, you mentioned earlier on about having a job interview next week. I can imagine that you're pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
My question to you is, first of all, what is like, do you live on your own now or you still living with your parents?
I used to live on my own. Went back with my parents for at least 2 years now, but I'm on the process of like trying to move out. And now that I'm like, trying to move out, it's like literally the worst time. Like rent is like crazy high. Getting a job is proving a little bit more difficult. So it's a little bit more of a challenge, but it's hopefully something that I'll be able to do.
And how much money does a young person has to make to comfortably be able to live on their own here?
Honestly, I would say like comfortably, probably around like $20 to $25 an hour. Currently, like the jobs that I've been getting are minimum wage, obviously, because that's all that's been able to be offered. There hasn't been like a lot of opportunities to like for like salons and like other things that I like, into my field. But I will make do with what I can until the meantime. But yeah, it's not ideal at the moment, but it's definitely something that it's a part of life. I feel like there's always those humps that you need to get over. So this is one of them.
Are you now going to, like, when you go back to school and you're finishing everything, are you going to stay in London or are you going to try and move somewhere else?
I think I'm going to try to move. I have been here like literally my whole life, so it would be nice to, broaden my horizons and get out. I was definitely thinking like Toronto, Japan, or England. Those are my like top 3 for sure.
Have you had any experience going overseas?
Yes. My family is actually from Nicaragua and Uruguay, so I have a lot of family members over there. I've gone and visited. I've also gone to Brazil. I've visited. Yeah, I've gone a lot of different places, mainly in like Latin America, but yeah.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time and making this platform better, for sharing your stories. You didn't have to do any of that, but you did that, and this platform does appreciate you. And do you have any final words that maybe you want to send to any young person out there, and any advice?
I guess life is life, and it is definitely going to get you down, but you just have to lean on the appropriate people and, don't always try to do things on your own. Definitely can make things harder. It's something I've learned the hard way, but yeah, just keep a positive outlook and keep that hard work ethic going,